Day by Radio. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are glad you are here. Today's going to be incredible. We have been broadcasting all week, highlighting all week, reeling all week. We've been doing stuff all week to prepare for this day. And then I asked my son, I said, yo, you like to be in the studio, you like tech. And I said, hey, you want to do this show with me today? And you said yes. And then I asked you why. And what'd you say?
And I said because I like doing tech and I can be with my dad while I'm doing it.
You know what? One of the things that we're promoting here at the Big Fish Show 95.7 The Boss is the idea that ownership really does matter. And if our kids can't see it in us, then it's likely we can't see it happen through them. And so, man, I'm doing my hardest, man. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this thing, but I want my kids to understand the power and nature of entrepreneurship. And with that said, I had a conversation with an incredible woman, leader, entrepreneur, visionary, pioneer, guide that I just thought was necessary in this season of the Big Fish Show because the Big Fish Show, after all, is dedicated to unlocking the entrepreneurial potential in people and communities across America. That's what I firmly believe. And so our 900,000 member audience on 95.7 The Boss and my over 200,000 member subscribers across our socials, we want to introduce you to this amazing woman. Her name is Fee to the King. And I just want her to say what's up to the audience. What's up, what's up, what's up, Miss Fee King? How you doing?
What's happening? Happy Sunday.
Hey, listen, can you hear us at 95.7 The Boss with the Big Fish Show?
Yay, yay.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so um, so I started following you when this Facebook group popped up in my timeline.
Okay. There are
That
Black people in Omaha. That Facebook group?
yes, that Facebook group. I started
Okay.
following you, and then I'm like, who is this lady? And then I started following you some more, and then here we are today having a conversation about Fee King.
Yes. And
So
about
before we
Omaha.
get yes, so why the Facebook group, and then like just brag a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, because I think it really matters in this season.
I appreciate that. You said, how did the Facebook group come about?
Yeah,
So listen, this Facebook group, let me repeat it. Shameless plug. There are Black people in Omaha because there are Black people in Omaha. And I created this group, I want to say 14, 15, 16 years ago. That's
right.
how long it's been around. And it was really out of just being funny because wherever I would travel, wherever I lived, people would ask me or kind of it was a repeated statement. So there are Black people in Omaha. I was like, yes, I just told you I'm from there. And I said, you know what? If I had a dime for every time someone asked me that, like I'd be rich 10 times over. And Facebook was new at the time, and Facebook groups were very new. I had no idea what it was, but I just thought I want to capture that name and I want to encapsulate the culture and bring us together and highlight the positives in Omaha and the positives around what Black people are doing and the contributions that we have made and are continuing to make.
Absolutely. When I saw it, it brought me back to a time when when I was when I was in California, hanging out and chilling. I had went to this church, and afterwards, I was digging this pastor. I mean, well known pastor, amazing dude.
Yeah.
And after he came up to us, and I introduced myself, and I said, I'm from Omaha, and this is before my kid here wasn't even born. And I said, I'm from Omaha, and he said, I didn't know Black people lived in Omaha. And I, everybody listening on 95.7 The Boss Big Fish Show right now, if you Black, you know what I'm talking about. I just
Facts.
kind of, I'm just like for real. But that's like the perception.
It is. So many people think, I mean, when I say think, for years, I left Omaha in 1988. Oh my gosh, I'm dating myself. Ooh, I can't believe I just put that out in public. I left. Sorry about that. Just give me 1 second. And animals in the hallway. So I left a long time ago. And now what was I about to say? I left a long time ago, 1988. And oh, people, wherever I live. So I've lived everywhere. I've lived Colorado, Texas, Florida, LA, Baltimore, Bowie, Maryland, New York City. Everywhere I've ever lived, people have assumed that I'm from New York. They're like, you have a New York vibe. And I'm like, really? I feel like at the core of who I am is very, very much so Midwest.
Right.
But people are still shocked. And I love when I connect with other Black people from Omaha because we get it, right? Yeah.
Right. So tell us about you, Faith. We were kind of going back and forth over the last few days, and I just got excited about the opportunity to speak with you, us to speak with you about what you're doing, and I'm excited. So tell us a little bit about you.
Jace, are you excited? Oh, I love it.
He has his notes. Hey, everybody listening by radio, my son has his notes. He's just so ready.
He looks ready. I love this. It is such an honor to be interviewed by Jace. Okay. Who am I? One of the things that I've conditioned myself to be really clear with the difference in who I am versus what I do. Because oftentimes we'll be asked, who are you? And we'll go through the litany of things that we do for a living and how we make money, how we contribute, but that's not who I am. Who I am is a woman. I am a sister. I am a pet parent, a very proud pet parent. I'm a cousin. I'm a favorite cousin to a couple cousins. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. I'm an auntie to the most amazing 10-year-old. Shout out to Chandler Marie Revis. I am also a fiance. I'm about to be a married woman this year, 2025. We're locking it down. Yes, to amazing man, just an amazing human being. So that's who I am. I am the daughter of the Most High. I am love. I am grateful, and I love life, and I love my life with all of its ups and downs, ins and outs, topsy turvy challenges. I've had a good life.
Yeah, I love how we're kind of really starting off because, and I talk to my kids about this, even if that's these days, the difference between what we do and who we are.
Yeah.
You ever recall us having conversations about that day? Yes.
Oh.
I think that matters. Think up a little bit, my guy.
You want to know who you are. You want to know who you are, and you're you don't want to be stuff. I don't know how to explain it. You want to know who you are.
You're doing great.
You want to know who you are.
You do.
Right. The distinction you're making between not just, hey, this, okay, we'll get into the things I've done, I've been blessed to do.
Mm-hmm.
From the jump, I want the audience to know, hey, this is who I am.
Yes. And I tell you, Jace, you are so ahead of the curve because no one asked me that question at 10. I didn't start learning who I was until my 40s. Woo! What? And so your dad is really setting you up for success. And these are the conversations that we ought to be having with our children, with our grandchildren, our nieces and our nephews, and those that we get to minister in the community and get to nurture, whether they're your biological or not. It's important to know who you are.
Absolutely. So with that said, I'm gonna have my man Jace ask you a question after you
tell us a little bit about, brag on yourself a little bit. Like, what have you done? I know sometimes that's hard for us, but I want our people to know that, like, it's okay to talk about what you've done because it's inspirational.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me this platform. And I just did a post last night about women, especially bragging about who they are, what they've done in the most positive and humblest way. I have a saying, which is, I live my life and I write about it, because I never thought all of the things that I've done were not of my plan. Not one. There was one. There was one thing that I was really clear about, and it was when I graduate high school, Northwest High, I am going to be leaving Omaha, Nebraska. And I graduated in June. Before June 30th, I was gone. And I've never returned. I've come back to visit. And I have such amazing memories from Omaha. I also have really tragic memories from my childhood growing up there. So I have both. And I think there is no light without dark. There's not dark without light. And so all of it makes me who I am and has allowed me to do the things that I've done. So I've been to court reporting school. I lived in Houston, Texas. I was, I don't know, I mean, am I free? Because we got Jason in the house. Am I free?
Yeah. But here's the thing, Big King. Listen, all the queens watching and listening right now. Listen, one of the things that we live in, I think, we live in a culture like a couple of things. Our kids are exposed to more than we realize.
Good point.
Outside of our home at accelerated rates without preparing for it, without properly. And so when we think that our kids don't know, I'd rather kids know than not know what we're up against, right? Because then at the end of the day, kids know more than what we think they know.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm always, and to be honest, my kids are blessed with the opportunity. They have two cultures, so they're navigating what it means to be diverse in a highly polarizing society right now. You feel me?
Yes, I do. I'm glad you said that. I will, of course, I'll be respectful though. Absolutely. So when I left Omaha, the only thing I believed to be true without having evidence was that there is a big world out there and there is something for me.
Yeah.
And I just said, there's a big world and I know that there's something for me to be doing, to have. And I didn't use this language, but now I realize that I really was stepping out on faith, because I'd never planned to go to college. College was not spoken about in my household. As a matter of fact, my mom used to have what were called Nostradamus parties. Are you familiar with Nostradamus?
I know who Nostradamus was, but I don't know about the Nostradamus parties. It sounds like something. Tell me about it.
So she would have these VHS parties where she and her friends would listen to Nostradamus, who predicted that, he made a lot of predictions about the end of the world. And one was like 1999 or somewhere thereabouts. Yeah, Prince had the song, 1999. And my sister and I really believed, because we could hear the messaging coming from the living room. And so we're listening to this. Like you said, children know and they have access to far more than we give them credit for. Right. So most of the things that were going on in our household, we knew about it. And listening to Nostradamus prophesy that the end of the world was coming, I remember my sister and I saying, well, shoot, girl, there ain't no need to go to college because we're going to be dead. And so it was not even a conversation. It was, and one of the other things that I realized is not one counselor at my high school called me down and said, Miss King, what is your plan? What would you like to do? Where would you like to? That question was never had. There was no preparation for adulthood. And so I knew how to work. I've been working since the age of 12. I know how to present myself. Like my mother taught me very well how to code switch, if you will, how to move between all of these worlds. And so I knew I was smart. I knew that I had a personality, strong work ethic, and I knew how to type. So I said, well, maybe I'll work in an office. That didn't last long. So I've had all of the jobs, but what I've done that I'm very proud of is knew the value of working for myself. And so being an entrepreneur is very, very different than being a business owner and a small business owner. But I'm really grateful that I've been able to create my own way out of finding my own way. And so I've done it all. I mean, I've been an actor. I've been. Whoa. Jeez. Yeah, he did it. Myron.
Hey, listen, everybody. Big King used to be an actor.
Yes.
Please tell us about that, please.
Oh, that was the
reason why I'm making a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Is because there are Black actors who have come out of Omaha, right?
Yes.
Who are aspiring actors currently in Omaha.
Yes.
And they need to hear and see people like Fisch, right?
Oh.
Talk to us about that. Let's kind of go down that. Let's see where that goes.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those things again. It was not my life's dream. As a matter of fact, when I was around 12, my mother in Omaha took me to a talent agent. I didn't even know what that was. And I remember I had this cute new gray outfit on. It was this little top and the long skirt. And it was a Caucasian woman. She's asking me questions. And she said, so I hear you want to be an actress. And I looked at my mom. I was like, no, because I was nervous. I was nervous and shy. My mom was so embarrassed. She was so upset with me because I think she saw something in me. But again, these are conversations that I think you have to really sit down with your children and get more intel. I moved to Houston, Texas. I'm in court reporting school. There's a brother who's now an Emmy Award winning writer. His name is Anthony Hill. He worked at my school. So I'm in school for court reporting. This is a part-time job for him. And one day he says to me, he's like, I like your voice. Have you ever thought about acting? I said, brother, I got 3 jobs. I sell Avon. I'm working as a cocktail waitress at the club, and I have a full-time job in benefits. And I'm in court reporting school. I said, so no. He said, I want you to come do this thing with me. I'm going to the radio station in Houston, and I've written this script. Before there was TV, there was radio on TV. We would do, not we, but people of that time would do shows, sitcoms on the radio. And he had a character for me, Miss Chin, a Chinese woman. I had so much fun. I mean, Miss Chen, Miss Chin.
So that was the position.
I had an accent and everything. I never did an accent. I was having fun. I just made it up. Yeah.
Okay, so do you still remember the script? Do you remember the day, or do you remember anything about it?
I just remember her name. And I remember he said that he loved it. He said, Fee, if they pick this up, is this something that you would want to do? Wow. And I was just like, yeah, okay. We leave the radio station. He takes me to another radio station. Like he had me the whole day. And so we're just banging out these characters, and it was so much fun. He then asks me about a month later, Fee, I've written a screenplay and we're going to do a reading. I don't even know what that is. He says, can you come? And I was like, Anthony, for real, I just don't have time for this. So I just kept blowing him off. He was telling me he's a writer. I'm going to fast forward. He ends up getting a job on The Parenthood with Robert Townsend. Yeah. He says to me, Fee, we're going to keep in touch because I'm telling you, I think you got something. right? And I was like, this dude is doing a lot. Like, I think he likes me or something. What's going on?
Right.
He gets to Hollywood. We keep in touch. And he says, Fee, I think you should come to Hollywood. I think you should be an actor. I was like, what? So I entertained it and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because I'm in court reporting school. I have all these other jobs. Let me get another job. Let me go to court reporting. Let me go to acting class at Houston Community College. So I enrolled in an acting class because I said, I don't even know what it is. He said, I'm gonna have you come out for a visit. I enrolled in the class. Prior to the class starting, I went out to Hollywood to visit. He lived right off of Hollywood Boulevard. He took me to the set of Parenthood. I hung out with Faison Love, all the characters. I had the most amazing time, just incredible. But I still wasn't sold. So I come back to Houston. I'm now starting class. I love the acting class. But what I really loved about it was when we got to write our own scenes. But I'm not making a correlation. I didn't realize that that's writing, right?
Oh my goodness.
But I love that so much. But again, he said I should be an actor. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll be an actor. And of course, it takes money, it takes resources. So I decided I need to make a lot more money quicker. So I
and this is what Jason and I and my kids talk about a lot. They hear me, they see it more than they hear me talk about it. They be both, but
yeah.
He thought you should be an actor. Did everybody listening, watching, get that, look at the replay later on the app?
Yes.
Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever.
That part.
Did everybody get that?
He said,
I saw that I could write my own script.
Yes. I was so in my own way.
Wow.
And I think a lot of us are and have been, especially, and notice I didn't say most, because it's not a most. It's right. There are some women who are very clear. There are some young girls who are very clear. I was not. I was not very clear. I trusted that whatever he saw in me was the truth. And it was the truth, but it wasn't my truth. It was his truth.
Man.
Yeah. Because, so my scene, hence why her story Unstuck is so important and it's so relevant, because it's taken me this long to really get it. And that's okay, because I've enjoyed the journey. I've enjoyed all of it.
So speaking of, because we're on the topic, and my son is here, and I just think it's so interesting. He's always, since he's been a kid, he's been like, he may seem super shy, but dude is like this kind of super committed. But again, I can't put my truth on it, and I think like just because we see a quality in somebody, or we see something in them, we want to position them in a place that we think they should be, rather than help them discover, right?
Oh.
Self-discovery. But Jason, I'm curious, like as she's talking about acting and stuff, do you have like any questions for her on acting or anything like that you want to ask her, because she's been to Hollywood?
No. So Jason, no, because that's a different level, and that's a different level, and it can happen. And then here's what I would like to invite you to think about. Is that something you want? And there's no right or wrong answer. There's no judgment attached to it. because you can be an actor and be a working actor and be a very successful actor and make a lot of money and a lot of impact, and not everyone knows your name. Or you can be a superstar and have very little privacy and everyone knows your name and you're making a lot of money and even more impact. So there's so many things that you can do in the industry. I wish I had known that when I first got there, because I remember, and this is how God works. This is how God works. I was there and I'm doing all the things. And all the things is taking classes, getting headshots, networking, going to parties, going to screenings, going through the Backstage West at the time, going through Variety magazine, looking for student films. Like, you're doing everything. And then of course you need to work and make money. I'm coming from Houston. The cost of living from Houston to LA is like this big, the difference. I go to a party and there was this woman. It was like we were doing this. And she said to me, she said, so where are you from? And I tell her, she said, oh, what do you do? I said, I'm an actor. She said, do you write? And I was like, what? I just told you. I said, no, I'm an actor. She said, you should write. And then and I was just like, the nerve. But she was planting seeds. And I was focused on what other people saw in me or didn't see in me. And I didn't start writing professionally until my relationship with my mother has, like a lot of girls and their mothers, we were like oil and water. We were just very different. We didn't know how to communicate. It was tumultuous from the time I was a little girl. I remember, and I had this really strong desire to heal my relationship with my mother. But my communication skills were subpar. For me at that time, I didn't create the opportunity to just call her and say, hey, mama, can we talk? It just didn't feel like a safe space for me. I had gone to see 2 one-woman shows, 2 solo shows in my life. And I thought, maybe I could communicate how I'm feeling through the written word. There was a woman, her name is Iona Morris. She's the daughter of the famous Phil Morris. He was the first African-American in a series, Mission Impossible. I heard she had a one-woman show where she played her father. I didn't know her, right? I only knew her name and I heard about her. I go on a voiceover audition and I know what she looks like. I'm sitting in there. I go audition. I come out and she's walking in. And I was just like, and she was so nice. Wow. She spoke. That year, she was directing the NAACP Theater Awards. And so I said, I'm going to go out into the parking lot, because she was going in for her audition. And one of the things is, when people are going into an audition, you let them have their moment, their space, so they can prepare. I go out into the parking lot and I look through all the cars in the parking lot, because I hoped that there would be some headshots of Black people. I was right. I found her car. There was a folder that had spilled over tons of headshots. I wrote on my card, a little business card. I said, I'd like to take a writing class, because I heard that she teaches a solo writing class. She didn't call. And then she called. I took her writing class. At the end of the class, you get to perform 12 minutes of what you wrote. And she's going to direct it. At the rehearsal, I was so clumsy and so insecure and self-conscious. She pulled me to the side, and I'll never forget this conversation, because she's so loving and so nurturing. She said, baby, you wrote these words. You got to say them. Wow. And I said, but I don't like to curse. She said, but these characters curse. So this is not you. You are playing these people. And you have to be true to who they are. And let me tell you, and I said, well, maybe we can hire another actor to play them. She said, but they didn't live your life. I was like, wow. Yeah. And that 12-minute performance, once I stopped crying in the back room, I mean, I was a mess. I was like, I cannot do this. That 12 minutes landed me a director who ended up like, I didn't even know what a dramaturg was. I didn't know any of this. And that's the thing I want people to know, because sometimes we think we got to know everything. Yeah. You just need to have a desire. You know, I didn't know anything. I mean, I didn't know upstage, downstage, stage left, stage right, center light, spotlight, dramaturg. I was just like a deer in headlights. But people saw that this story is powerful. And this woman is a woman who had said to me a few years earlier when I said, oh, I want to write a one-woman show. Because she took me to see a one-woman show. She said, sweetheart, you haven't lived enough to write a one-woman show. I'm in my 30s. And I said, oh, it's interesting how people have a different perception of me than who I really am. And again, it goes back to who you are and what you do.
You're bringing up so much, Chase. I'm curious because one of the things about the Big Fish show is I'm being very intentional about. The quality of people, but just the eclectic background, and then intergenerationally, and then robbing Peter to pay Paul in a real way, like spending time with my kids, even though I'm offering value to our communities, country, and so I don't know. I want to give you, Jake, an opportunity to ask her something, based on what you're hearing her talk about, her journey about being an author, starting to write. And I mean, what are you thinking as a 10-year-old kid who attends Fontenelle Bar School? Like, what is it? What are you thinking about as you're listening to us talk?
I'm thinking about how it is so long right now, but if you like actually talk to her, so was it a really super? If you like sitting down with her, writing.
Oh, the class. The class environment. Oh, that's a great question. It was a class environment with other writers and other people who wanted to write solo shows. Out of that class, it was about 6 people. 6 people. I was the only one who went on to write and perform a show for years afterwards. And so you have writer prompts, which are, she might throw out a color, the color orange. Write something about the color orange. And I mean, I'm looking at my orange notebook over here. Orange just so happens to be my favorite color. And so whatever is in you that's ready to come through you is ultimately what you're going to end up writing about. Because the things that I wrote about was troubling for me. And I realized that this is what I have got to get out in order to heal my relationship with myself and the relationship with my mother. And it didn't work out initially, but in the end, it absolutely did. Like, I got so much from that show. My mother got so much from that show. And before she transitioned, she said to me, that's a really good show. I said, this show is about you. She was like, yeah, I know you out there telling all our business, but I really... She did. She said, but I really like it. And I think you should do it forever. Yeah. Yeah. So she gave me her blessing. She helped me when it was the John Beasley Theater produced it in 2000. I don't remember when. I think 2008. And my mom came to see it. It was. She's Lisa Luker in the house. That's my best friend.
There's people showing love to you already,
Thank you.
I'm blown away. I think you shared tons. We can go tons and tons of different ways. I want to get on the book, and then I want to get on what you're doing with women as a guy. But before we do, I want to ask my son, what's on our list for the viewers or anyone listening by radio? Any question you just feel like burning in you to ask our new friend, Faith?
Before you started to write for the solo show, did you feel worthy that you was gonna like it?
He's trying to create tears. This is not fair. Woo!
Wow.
So let me repeat the question to make sure that I understand it. Is that okay? Can I do that? You asked before I wrote the show or before I presented it to my mom, was I afraid that she would not like it?
Yeah.
Terrified because the first 12 minutes, I'm not a parent, but I was raised by one, right? So I could only imagine if your child, Jace, if there was an interaction between you and your father or you and your mother that hurt you, disappointed you, and you were holding some strong feelings about it towards your father and or your mother, and they wrote about it, and that's like the first time they're experiencing your discomfort about how they raised you, I think that would be very painful. So I was, you're never prepared, but I knew, I said, this is going to either go left or right. At some point in your life, you get to do what's best for you. And I was at that point, I said, I'm in pain. And I feel like my mother's not going to live to be an old woman. So I got to get this right. Like right now, there was such a sense of urgency. And when she first saw it, she was still in her addiction. She was an alcoholic, and she didn't see it. But to my credit, I didn't stop. Some people would be like, okay, this is enough. It's not going to turn out the way that you want it to, because in my mind, I wanted her to see this piece, and I wanted her to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that my drinking brought you so much pain. And how dare I put that on her? Like, you got to deal with that. And that's what I learned from doing this show. I realized this is not her problem. This is mine. Yeah. So I knew That's a great question. That's a great question, Jace. Thank you.
I was elated to have you on the show, and for our 95.7 audience and those who are now rocking with us, because we're Big Fish Show powered by 95.7. I was just honored to have you because I don't know, there's something about if you guys check out our social, Karen and I would be sharing back and forth, the book cover, and then the public bio picture. And I think it's a perfect segue for you to give us a 50,000 foot picture of Unstuck and why you wrote Unstuck, how you think it's going to change the way people see themselves.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share. I wrote this book because man, growth is painful, right? Growth is painful. Change is inconvenient. but allowing yourself to remain stuck in dysfunctional relationships, stuck in jobs, careers that don't bring you ultimate joy, stuck in cities that are unfulfilling to you, then you're going to remain in a rut. And I want for women to know, especially over 40, because something happens when you are moving into perimenopause, menopause. You start to think it's too late. Man, it's too late. I've run out of time. And I know that because I thought that. And it's as if I woke up, it was as if I went to sleep Friday and I was me normal. I woke up Saturday morning and I was losing my mind. I was like, what? I just got old. Okay, I just overnight. Is that how it happens? You just get old overnight. And who I thought I was not how I was feeling. And I said, what is happening? And in our community, the Black community, I can't speak for any other community, but not one Black mama, auntie, cousin, them told me that menopause was a real thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. They didn't tell me, so I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was happening, and I didn't understand what was happening with my brain and my memory, my energy, and so many things were happening at the same time. And I literally, I felt like I wasn't able to move. My feet wouldn't move. That's what stuck feels like. You just feel like I can't go straight. I can't go. And so you just stay immobilized. You just stay where you are. And I want women to know that you don't have to. You can choose, even if you don't know how, because the how's not our role. It's not our responsibility. The how is what God is going to work out for you. All you get to do is have a desire and to know that you are worthy of moving forward at 40, at 50, at 60, at 70, at 80. Yes.
I need to stop you right there. I just feel like today's conversation, for those of you who are listening by radio or watching by stream, from 95.7 the Market Issue or Free Kings socials, I feel and like this. The unstuck book is a message of hope. And I feel like there are people like watching, will watch, who like that's their story. You said something that you can move forward over 40.
Yes.
Unpack that.
Moving forward over 40.
That's a whole bar. Like, unpack that. You just said a lot.
It is, because when I was experiencing, we're going to talk about the internal effects of menopause. Every woman's experience is different. So my experience might not be what the next woman's experience is. I was in a relationship in Orlando, Florida. I moved from LA to Orlando to be in this relationship with someone that I had been in relationship with before. And so one of the things that I learned for me personally is there's no looking in your rearview mirror. Ain't nothing back there for you. If you left it back there, guess what? It gets to stay back there. I'm in a relationship and I realize 3 days in, like I'm in trouble. And I had never in my life said those words. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm in a foreign city. I don't know anyone. I'm in this relationship. I don't have a job. And I'm losing my hair. And I just thought, what have I done so wrong to where God is punishing me? Like I thought I blamed this on God. I was like, come on now.
Man.
Come on now. This cannot be my life. Some beautiful things happened though through that. While I'm on my journey, I met some women who referred me to a book titled The Wisdom of Menopause, because I'm sharing with one of my girlfriends in San Francisco. We're at this this board meeting. I was on the board of directors for this art community, and I'm sharing with her what's happening. And another woman overhears it, and she comes over. She says, "I don't mean to eavesdrop." She said, "But I think there's a book that will really help you." She said it's The Wisdom of Menopause by Dr. Christian Northrup. I ordered the book, and I mean, I must have cried for a month. I just cried because it was the first time that I realized I'm not crazy. I'm not losing my mind.
Right.
And this is about to be the best chapter of my life. She
Come
confirmed
on.
everything, but I needed to do the work,
Right.
right? Because once you know better, you do better. You're
Right.
not able to have this amount of information and knowledge and not do something constructive with it. So I got to work.
You know what, Fee? What you're explaining is like one of the reasons why I think you distinguish entrepreneurship from business, and you talked about like, I mean, and you've said it a few times, like you had these multiple things going on in your journey, like you're working at this job, you're going to this school, you're doing all, and like, and I just hear this story of resilience, and yet the things you have experienced and wanting to like see other women, that it just keeps resonating with me, like you can move forward over 40. So walk us through the book a little bit, like what can people expect, what's the aim? And I heard a little birdie said you were giving a book away for free.
I am. Yes. Yes, I am. Her story, Unstuck, is
Uh-huh. Oh, go ahead.
okay. Her story, Unstuck, is my autobiographical self-awareness book. So you can expect me to be vulnerable, transparent. Some of the feedback that I've gotten, I have about 35 advanced readers, and the feedback has been consistent, which is you're very vulnerable, very transparent. And this is a story about relationship with yourself.
Mm.
It's a story about the relationship that I needed to strengthen with myself.
Uh-huh.
So I share with people, with women, how I got from where I was to where I wanted to be.
Right.
And the only way you can get there is to get moving and to
Right.
get yourself unstuck. And so, one of the things that I talk about in this book is this relationship that I was in that was verbally abusive, it was toxic, and I needed to take responsibility because I said yes to all those things. Sometimes, as women, we want to play the victim role. We want to say, he's doing this to me and he did this. But you said yes, and you chose
Wow.
him, and you attracted him.
Yeah.
So I really, it was the first time I really did the internal work because I said, what is it about me? What is it about you, Fee King, that is attracting this? And he was one of a few. I had attracted a few of those kind. And one of the things that I've learned in my research is that women who have been girls who have been sexually abused, molested, violated, raped, tend to choose men who don't value them, men who can be abusive, men who can be dismissive. It's
Right.
scientifically proven. So I needed to do some really deep internal work so that I could have a different outcome.
Mm.
And I knew that if I didn't, I was going to continue to attract
You know
men like.
what? You're bringing up so much, even as you're talking about this. It's no secret. I'm a Omaha native. I've traveled the country. Best-selling author three times. Been all over the world. Started churches, started businesses, helped people all over the world. Started all these stuff I've done. Right, by the
Yeah,
grace of God, was a pastor. Now I'm into in entrepreneurial development, all these things, and for my marriage to end in a divorce, and for how my kids responded and are still responding, and how necessary it is for them to do the work. Like, and to provide the resources for my kids. And it's crazy. Like my son, even right now, it's like we're in therapy, right? He's doing his therapy. I'm doing my therapy, and life sometimes just sucks. And to your point, like you took responsibility, but then also on the men's side, speaking just from the men's side, having to take responsibility in this case and in other cases for my mental health,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
To how and so even as we're, you know, those of you who are listening or watching, who are men or women, if you're dealing with menopause, or if you're a man and you're dealing with mental health, like it's going to affect us and it affects our kids. And I'm just interested in knowing, and I don't want to put him on the spot too much, but Jace, how has like therapy, as you've listened to her, as you've heard me, as we've talked about this, right? Like how has doing your own work of being a kid and me being your dad and what we've gone through, like how has therapy helped you?
It's helped me by discussing like how I can fix it, how I can like say stuff about myself and say like if I'm like okay still.
Mm.
Yeah. I think that it is. I mean, the fact that a young person is able to validate his feelings
Yeah.
is so, it is so important to be able to
Yeah.
say without being judged by your parent that I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel cheated.
Yeah.
I mean, that is such a beautiful thing.
And
That
it's
is such a
interesting that
responsible.
fee for me to like, and that's even to your mom, like when your mom said that about you, when she gave you the green light, it's
Mhm.
hard. And again, y'all watching the Big Fish show, but we can't talk entrepreneurship if we're not looking inward. We
Yeah.
can't even talk about like, and so it's when you talk about your mama gave you the red light, for those who are listening and watching, like we have to give people permission to share how they feel about how they have experienced you.
Yes. Yes.
And
And
that's, go ahead.
I want to say, Myron, and if and when they don't, then you get to give yourself the permission.
Oh, that's
Because
good.
yeah. Yeah, if I mean I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that she did. I was gonna do it anyway.
Okay,
Nothing and
Fee,
no one gets in between my
Fee,
goals and my dreams. Yes.
Fee, we have 4 minutes. Oh my gosh, it's an hour went by. Okay,
Yes,
when
let's
is
do it.
Fee? You're coming back. You're coming back.
All
Is
right,
one
all
question.
right. Part two.
Hey, coming back. Um, when is the book coming out? What is the most important piece of information people need to know right now about you? And then where can people follow you?
All righty. Three great questions. Her Story Unstuck drops March 15th on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And then you said, what do people need to know about the book?
Yeah, your next. What's the next piece of information people need to know about Fee King?
Okay, so what I do, I work with women to help them get unstuck and root from where they are to where it is they want to be. So that looks like fitness, finances, and emotional, because that encompasses everything. So again, fitness, your finances, and your emotions. In this book, I give you a 5-step guide. It's super simple, and it's so simple that you might not even realize, okay, I I've done this, but it's steps that you get to do in order to get yourself unstuck. One of the things that I make sure that I share with women is I don't do the work for you. I
Right.
help you get yourself unstuck. This is work that you get to do for yourself. The book is funny, it's real, it's raw, it's vulnerable, it's transparent, and it's super short because it's a part of a 3-book series. So this is book 1. Book 2 will drop probably around this time next year, and then book 3 is going to be. I want to do a like a culmination of writers, female writers, telling their stories around the central theme of being unstuck and how you got yourself unstuck.
So
So that's
so So can like men read it? Can men
Oh
read
my
it?
gosh. I have some male advanced readers and they love it. I've gotten
Okay,
great feedback. I would love to. I want to send you a copy and
please
have
do.
you read it, Myron, and let me know what you think.
I definitely want to. So coming out March 15th.
March 15th, yes.
Unstuck, follow you on all socials. Right now, you can go to fee-king.com. Is that right,
Yes,
Fee?
that is right. Hmm.
Fee-king.com to check out all things Fee and her socials. I'm for real going to have you back on
I'd love
because this is
that.
fun. Jace, you got any like parting words or anything you want to say to Fee?
Um, Not really.
Glad we had her.
Yeah.
This is a cool first time.
Hmm.
What advice would you have for kids who want to get into entrepreneurship?
Um,
Speaking from an entrepreneur yourself.
Always ask your parents stuff and like to get started with how you want to do it and when you want to do it
What's the biggest reason why kids aren't successful in being entrepreneurs?
because they don't speak up about their feelings.
Mm, yes.
Fee, we
Jace,
are going to have a
Myron.
follow up. I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for blessing the Big Fish Show, powered by 95.7 The Boss, and my audience and your audience. And I'm looking forward to what we're going to do together.
Likewise, me too. Thank you, Myron.
All right.
Thank you,
Hey,
Jace.
bless you. Jace,
Peace.
she said peace. We'll
Bye.
talk soon.